How to choose an MFA creative writing program. Pursuing a master's in fine arts in creative writing can give you the time and space to focus on your writing. It can also connect you to other writers in the community and allow you to learn from your professors as well as your peers. It can be daunting to choose an MFA creative writing program, especially when there are so many options across North America. You should start by identifying your goals as a writer to determine if an MFA is the right path for you. You should then do extensive research into MFA programs and reach out to current students and faculty for insight into the programs of your choice. Part 1: Determining your goals as writer. 1. Identify your expectations for the MFA. Before you jump right into researching MFA creative writing programs, you should consider your goals as a writer and what you expect to get out of an MFA. MFA programs are a good way to spend 2 to 3 years focusing solely on creative work and give you the space to grow as a writer. You will be surrounded by other writers and get a chance to connect to a larger writing community. You may also find mentors in your professors and faculty members who are writers themselves, allowing you to feel supported by their guidance and knowledge. Keep in mind you do not need an MFA to be a successful writer, as some publishers are not partial to writers with an MFA. You are not guaranteed a book deal at the end of an MFA program. If you view an MFA as your only shot at being a legitimate writer, you may want to reconsider your expectations for the degree. Many successful writers do not have MFAs, but some do, and the value of the degree will often be more personal than professional. Though your chances of landing a teaching position in a writing program may increase if you have an MFA, you will still need to work hard to have a career in teaching creative writing. Having an MFA is a benefit to landing a teaching position, but it is not a guarantee. 2. Assess your financial situation. Though you may end up applying to only MFA programs that offer full funding or partial funding, you will still need to pay for the cost of living, books, and school fees. If you do not get into a funded program, you may end up footing most of the bill for tuition, which can be in the thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. You should be prepared to take out loans to pay for the MFA or have a large amount of money saved up for tuition. You should look over your finances, paying close attention to any savings or investments you may have. You should be prepared to take out loans to pay for tuition in the event you do not get funding and do not have enough saved to afford school. 3. Consider your current resources as a writer. Ask yourself, do I need an MFA to fulfill my goals as a writer? Will the MFA offer me something I cannot find or create on my own? Considering your current resources as a writer and how an MFA to add or improve upon them is an important step in the process. You want to be sure that the MFA will help you fulfill your goals as a writer and feel worth your time and money. Perhaps you are already a member of a local writing group, but you feel an MFA will help you take your writing to a higher level. Or maybe you have published a few short stories and are working on several different writing projects, but think that an MFA will improve your craft and give you the time to work on these projects. Consider how the MFA will provide you with opportunities that you cannot create outside of school or a program. If the MFA seems necessary to your goals as a writer, it may be worth pursuing. Part 2: Researching MFA programs. 1. Determine if you are willing to relocate. Ask yourself if you are willing to move to a different state, province, city, or town for the MFA. If you are all for relocating, you may research MFAs based in institutions across the country. If you would prefer to stay in your city or state, you may look at local and state institutions to see if they offer MFA creative writing programs. If you do not want to relocate for the program, but you are not interested in programs in your area, you should look into low-residency programs. Low-residency programs allow you to complete your degree without spending time on a particular campus. You will work with faculty members to send and revise work while only having to spend 1 to 2 weeks a year on the campus. Low-residency programs are also a good option if you have professional or personal commitments that you cannot move away from, such as a professional career or a family. Many writers also choose low-residency MFAs for financial reasons, as they do not have to factor in the costs of relocating to go to school. 2. Review the top MFA programs in the country. Because there are so many MFA programs in the country, you may start by looking at the top-ranked programs. You can find top MFA creative writing program lists online to get a sense of the best of the best. You may set your sights on schools that are highly regarded in the literary world and see if they are a right fit for you. Keep in mind that though an MFA program is highly rated, it does not necessarily mean it will suit you. You may have other considerations, such as where you want to live in the country for 2 years as well as how much money you can afford to spend on school. You can view a complete database of MFA creative writing programs at poetswriters.com. 3. Check where your favorite writers are teaching. You can also look up where your favorite writers teach, if they do teach, and consider applying to schools where they are full or part-time faculty members. Getting the opportunity to take classes and learn from your favorite writers may be a good incentive for you to apply to certain programs. However, you should check to see if your favorite writers are full-time faculty and how often they teach in the program. Some bigger-name writers may not teach very often in a program or spend very little time actually mentoring students, as they may be occupied with writing their next novel. Ideally, you want faculty that will spend one-on-one time with you and mentor you. 4. Look for programs that offer full or partial funding. A big part of doing an MFA in creative writing is being able to afford the program. You should look for programs that offer full or partial funding to writers who are accepted and prioritize them, especially if you are not financially prepared to pay your own way through school. Often, fully or partially funded programs only accept a small number of students every year, another plus if you're looking for one-on-one instruction with a certain writer or instructor. Having smaller class sizes can end up being more of a benefit than having a superstar writer as a teacher, as your work may get more hands-on instruction and attention. You may set your own person limit on how much you are willing to spend on your MFA. You may then have a hard line on applying for programs that only offer full funding or try applying for a mix of programs that offer full funding, partial funding, and no funding. 5. Check for other sources of funding. If a certain MFA program does not offer funding, you may check for other sources of funding or financial support through the institution. This could be a teaching assistant (TA) position, where you assist a professor and get paid for your services by getting your tuition costs covered by the university. You should also look into a graduate assistant (GA) position in another department or a mentorship program where you mentor undergraduate students in exchange for tuition remission. Landing a TA position or a GA position can also allow you to get valuable teaching experience. This may be useful later if you plan to pursue a career teaching in higher education, as you can show employers that you have teaching experience at the undergraduate level. You may need to contact the financial aid or scholarship office at the institution for more information on other funding options. 6. Read over the classes offered in the program. You should also review the classes that are offered in the MFA program to see if they are of interest to you and relate to your writing. Look for a program that seems to speak to your interests and goals as a writer, as it will likely be a better fit overall. For example, some programs offer classes in hypertext or new media and they encourage interdisciplinary studies, where you can take classes in other genres like poetry or non-fiction. Some programs are more traditional, offering only workshop classes and seminars around certain craft elements in writing. 7. Look for any other perks of the program. You should also check to see if the MFA program offers other perks, such as visits to the program by literary agents, which could increase your chances of getting published. The program may also have guest teachers and visiting writers who run workshops and seminars for students, which could be a perk if one of the visiting writers is someone you would like to work with and learn from. Some programs also have higher publishing rates for their graduates and are renowned in the literary world for the high caliber of their graduates. You should look for a program that fits your budget and your needs, but also consider the other perks offered by the program. Part 3. Speaking to current students and faculty. 1. Contact current and former students in the program. You should speak to writers who are currently in the program as well as writers who have graduated from the program. This will help you get a better sense of the program as a whole and have an informed idea of what it is like to be a student in the program. Current and former students may also be able to offer advice on how to apply for the program as well as how to find housing once you have been accepted to the program. You can request contact information for current and former students through the program's applications page or the program's prospective student contact. You should send a list of questions to these students to help you get some perspective on the program. You may ask, what has your experience been like in the program? How has the program improved your writing? And what is the most positive and least positive aspect of the program? 2. Reach out to faculty members. You should also reach out to writers who are on the faculty of programs you are interested in applying to. You may be able to find their contact information on the program's website or through the prospective student's office at the institution. Talking to faculty members will help you get a better sense of the teaching style in the program. Reaching out to faculty members can also allow you to see how responsive and in touch they are with student requests. If the faculty member appears friendly and full of information and interest, this may be a good sign. Ideally, you want faculty members who appear dedicated to their students, even prospective ones. 3. Set up a campus visit. You can also get a better sense of the MFA creative writing program by arranging a visit to the campus. This is especially important if you are planning to relocate to a new city or town for the school. You want to be sure you can handle living in the new city for at least 2 to 3 years and feel comfortable on campus. You may set up campus visits before you apply for MFA programs or once you have been accepted to a few programs. Either way, a campus visit is a good way to get a sense of the institution and what your standard of living will be like if you choose a particular program.